Well, from the halls of Congress to local city governments, the topic of the Second Amendment and public safety continues to be top of mind. In the U.S. House Oversight Committee recently, U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche, he discussed the department's budget, which is $41.2 billion. That's 13% higher than fiscal year 2027. Blanche also discussed how the ATF seized nearly 44,000 illegal firearms and 2.7 million rounds of illegal ammunition. And he said the ATF has arrested more than 8,700 violent offenders, seized more than 44,000 illegal firearms, including 5,100 intercepted from arriving in Mexico. He says ATF agents also seized those illegal rounds and illegal explosives and conducting arson and explosives investigations. But during his presentation about the budget, Georgia U.S. Representative Andrew Clyde, he took a moment to praise the Trump administration and the Department of Justice on another front.
I want to commend the Department of Justice's work in protecting Americans' Second Amendment rights. Your fiscal year 27 budget requested $1.4 million to establish a Second Amendment rights section within the Civil Rights Division, and I was proud to lead an amendment in the FY27 CJS Appropriations Act to codify it. This section monitors state and local laws for unconstitutional infringements and pursues enforcement where necessary. Unlike the Biden DOJ, which sought to charge service-disabled veterans with felonies for using stabilizing braces, the Trump Department of Justice has already sued multiple jurisdictions over unconstitutional gun laws, and I look forward to ensuring that this office has the resources that it needs.
Clyde said Congressional Republicans and the president also delivered what he called the biggest Second Amendment victory in over 90 years by eliminating the NFA transfer and manufacturing taxes on short-barreled firearms and suppressors in the one big beautiful bill. He said for 91 years, the NFA subjected gun owners to unconstitutional infringements. He also said removing these taxes is a major step towards restoring those freedoms, but he went further to ask a direct ask of U.S. Department of Justice Attorney General Todd Blanche.
And it says in 926, section USC 18, 926, it says, no such rule or regulation prescribed after the date of the enactment of the Firearm Owners Protection Act may require that any system of registration of firearms, firearms owners, or firearms transactions or dispositions be established. That's the FOPA of 1986. I encourage you to have a great answer, and that is to eliminate the registration for those things that are not taxed when the database is indeed a tax database.
Understood.
Thank you.
Now, to state houses, and one state in particular that the Department of Justice is going to bat on the side of gun owners suing the state is Illinois. And in Illinois, there was speculation that there would be a Glock ban that would pass before they adjourned, but such a measure did not make it to the floor for a vote. Neither did the controversial Rifle Act in Illinois that would have taxed gun stores and manufacturers. Now, what did make it on the floor is Senate Bill 3229. Here's State Representative Maura Hirschauer on the House floor late in the evening on May 31st, talking about her bill to impact the firearm owner ID card.
First, it strengthens and clarifies the mental health evaluation process for people seeking to have their FOID card reinstated after they have been a patient in a mental health facility. We rename the evaluation in statute to be a FOID reinstatement mental health evaluation, rename the practitioners to be FOID reinstatement mental health evaluators in order to make this clearer to people who are seeking those services. We clearly define which practitioners are qualified to be FOID reinstatement mental health evaluators. We mandate some really good training requirements for these clinicians.
Now, just how much those clinicians will cost the individual who's looking to get their Second Amendment rights back in the state of Illinois, not known. This bill being brought up on the House floor. It also addresses the reporting of lost and stolen firearms, mandating that at the point of disposition, the clerk of the circuit courts in Illinois is supposed to furnish Illinois State Police with information about whether a firearm was used in a crime. She said that that language was missing from the original bill, and it was a request by Illinois State Police. More about the bill that did pass the Illinois House before they adjourned.
Part 2, we make a correction in the expedited review process for an individual whose FOID card is revoked because they are the subject of a clear and present danger report. We're providing transparency for people. We allow the identity of a person reporting an individual for being a clear and present danger to themselves or others to be disclosed if ordered by the Firearm Identification Card Review Board or a court. Part 3, we correct a section of the Safe at Home Act, which we passed, that addressed the reporting of lost and stolen firearms, mandating that at the point of disposition, the clerk of the circuit court shall furnish ISP with information as to whether a firearm was used in a crime. This language was missing from the original bill and requested by ISP.
Now, there were several other provisions of the measure, but it didn't get brought up in the Senate. Before they adjourned for the summer, Illinois State Police Director Brendan Kelly told the Center Square's Sean Reed this morning that they will continue to work on the measure with state senators in the months ahead. But that doesn't negate a federal lawsuit that's been filed challenging the FOID card. That lawsuit is pending in the federal judiciary. In the New York State Senate, gun violence was cited in the Senate resolution indicating formal legislation that recognizes the issue of gun violence. But New York legislators, they're also looking to ban flare guns from being sold to anyone under 17 and addressing parental liability in those cases. In Pennsylvania, the State House is looking at amendments and proposing those that would require hunter safety education and expand eligibility in youth trapping licenses. At the Louisiana State House, they're looking to tweak the liability laws concerning who can legally carry firearms.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, over in the Senate, we added some amendments in Senate committee that said this liability protection only extended if the perpetrator was wielding a dangerous weapon, and I'd make a motion that we concur with those amendments.
Rep. Carlson moves in concurrence unanimous. All those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, open machines. Members, vote machine.
Now in Rhode Island, the issue of taxes on firearms and related equipment was the focus of legislation that was reported out of committee onto the House floor.
Senate Bill 2086 by Senator Paolino, an act relating to taxation, sales and use tax, liability and computation, exempt from sales tax, firearm safety equipment, storage devices, gun safes, gun cabinets, gun vaults, gun cases, strong boxes, cable locks, trigger locks, and biometric locks.
Move passage.
Move passage by Senator Thompson, seconded by Senator Morgan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That bill will go to the floor.
To the State House discussing public safety issues around education facilities, and educators testifying at a Texas House committee that they're happy to provide armed security at public education institutions, but they say they need more tax money to pay for it.
So that shows you how far behind that we are. As he said, security. We have always had security on our campuses. We only had 4 campuses at a time when y'all passed a law saying we had to have 1 on every campus. We got a 4th and put that on there, and that added to our budget. I'm spending over $400 and something thousand a year on security when we get less than 100 from funding, because it's funded based on that $10 per ADA plus the $15,000 per campus. So you can see you can see why we have very large discrepancies in certain areas where we're required to do things, but we are off in terms of what we are getting for funding. That's 2 examples I can come up with.
Very helpful. That's easy math to follow.
Now, on a more local level, in city halls across the country, National Gun Violence Awareness Day being proclaimed and recognized in places like Birmingham, Alabama, or San Jose, California. In Oakland, California, there's plans for a 4-year framework to spend up to $47 million in funding focused on gun violence reduction. In Portland, they discussed a variety of different violence reduction interventions and intervention teams at taxpayer costs. And at City Hall in Corpus Christi, a resident urged city officials to be careful not to violate Texans' rights to lawfully carry firearms in certain places.
Good afternoon, Council. Scott Barraza, Nueces County. Let's take a minute to not talk about DSAL. I'd like to talk about Miles and his exposing the city to liabilities and his criminal actions regarding open records violations. Last fall, he started by attempting to prohibit licensed firearm carry in these chambers. Ultimately, that could cost the city $1,000 to $10,000 a day for each violation. After some complaints to the Attorney General, he ultimately got smacked down as state law clearly says he can't prohibit. It's pretty cut and clear that he can't prohibit carry. In the demand letter that was sent to the city from the AG, it was stated that no opinion was requested, even though I had been told that the city was going to request an Attorney General's opinion regarding the signage for the carry. So that was just the beginning of the lies about the AG opinion request from the city that I have received.
Now, we'll keep you posted on the latest developments around issues impacting your Second Amendment here with the Center Square Daily. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to ensure that you know when a new daily show is ready, and comments about gun control laws in your state, in your area, and what you think about them. From my studios in Central Illinois, I'm Greg Bishop, and you can join us back here Thursday for more stories impacting you, the taxpayer, from across the country, only with the Center Square Daily.